What I'm trying to say in the final analysis, once we take control of ourselves, we have to stop being imitators and be innovators. And realize we've got a continent 12 million square miles. Wherever our bodies are on the face of this earth, our cultural and political heartbeat is in Africa. Whether you ever go to Africa or not, that is your home, that is the home of your spirit, and that is the heart and meaning and definition of your commitment. And none of us, any place in the world, will be free until that continent is free.
The Masi Warrior Clan was created because myself and others like Brother Nahisi saw a need for a young African group to analyze information concerning the African phenomena with no bias, with rigor, and with scholarship. We created the Masi Warrior Clan for the purpose of being an expert research team, of being a team that produced products, a team that was capable of producing products for African people globally to dispel myths, rumors, and provide them with accurate scholarship.
Sutek tried to line it up, and he was like, I don't debate y'all. Y'all too disrespectful. Aboriginal Power won't even debate Sean because he's too disrespectful.
He is though. No, he really is though. I can't really like you, bro. You cool. Not a coincidence. I actually chop it up with but niggas that come off too heated and disrespectful, like I said, I'll debate you, bro. But we gotta get in the ring first. If you want to be disrespectful like that, at least disrespect me in the ring, bro. Let's start now, bro. Can you disrespect me in a cage, bro? Like, I'd rather just do that. Then we go straight from the cage. I mean, put your ice on the way to the motherfucking computer, and we'll debate directly after that, nigga. Shit.
That's why I don't need these. Fucking with the nigga and shit. You feel me? Like, it's like, wait, bro, talk like that, man. We gotta get face to face. We can talk to you like that, my nigga.
Yeah, Peanut. You feel me? Go ahead, I got my brother over here. Peanut, what's the word, my brother?
Yeah, I appreciate you, man, but Lucky, let me say this, man. First of all, I'm an older brother. I'm young in spirit because I stay in shape. And I'm older. I deserve respect. Don't lie on me. You're not going to get nowhere lying because that's what's going to make you fall face first. Second of all, I'm well known in the Pan-African community. I'm not nobody new. You're younger than me. You don't know this. I didn't put in work and expose Rob Bourne, Sutek, any of them people over there. They know it deep down inside. And I'm gonna be long-winded. I'm a Moorish American. I already had back and forth with them dudes. They erased videos. I'm not running from anybody. Don't ever say that stupid shit again. Third, and last but not least, I'm not losing no debate to no Pan-African. So don't ever say that shit again, famo. And that's it. Appreciate y'all, man.
You heard it. If Sean P want to debate, tell him to debate the champ over here, right?
Sutek wanted so this like it's a pecking order. It's a pecking. So Sean want you and Sutek want him. You say PMF ain't no.
It's no problem. It's no problem, man. Let's set up a Sutek debate, man. I don't like him anyway.
Okay, so I love that, brother. I love that warrior mentality.
I love to tell Sutek. There ain't nothing. My champ always in the chat. Album pop in. We'll set a topic. We'll set a date. Make it pay-per-view. We chop it up behind the scenes. I get their contact. We make it work. So, right here. He ain't ducking no phase, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. He do this over here on y'all channel. And then when we get in other
hey, alright, I will block your ass, nigga, because I'm well known for disrupting them chats over there. Nigga, stop fucking lying, nigga. You a goofy, nigga. I would never let a lame ass nigga lie on me in my face, clown.
You gonna block me and I don't be
It ain't no time I ain't ever been on the Pan-African channel and made my impact. Stop lying. I'm a real man, bro. Stop lying, fam. Don't do PNF like that.
PNF, he trying to trigger you, brother.
Word the fuck up.
But listen, he did that to me, talking about, word on the street, I'm ducking from John P. I've never even had but one conversation with this little disrespectful motherfucker.
Oh, okay, yeah, he a little hot. He like that.
So he like...
Y'all find an African in my fucking family, but y'all ain't find y'all.
Genealogy.
Shut the fuck up. That don't make sense, for one. Listen, y'all don't know what y'all did.
I don't feel like you standing on business.
Y'all lied on me, because y'all don't even know if that's me. And if y'all can trace that shit back to it's me, it's only 2 people in YouTube that got my information.
Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of meat. Half of this track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us honestly. You ain't a Cherokee, nope. You ain't a Chickasaw, nope. You ain't a Blackfoot, nope. Nigga, get lost. You just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Caught an apple slipping with his genealogy. Now he's a con and I ain't talking about a singer. I'm coming for the top apple leader. He ain't a teacher, he's a preacher. He can't keep up, so we leave him. Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of me. Half of the track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us possibly. You ain't a Cherokee, no. You ain't a Chickasaw, no. You ain't a Blackfoot. Nigga, get lost. You just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Caught an apple slipping off his genealogy. Now he's a con. OTK, TKO. Now he's a con. OTK, you died. TKO. By your own genealogy.
From Africa, but they will be able to tell you about Africa. They wouldn't be vaguely saying they from Africa, brother. Like when a European says I'm from Europe, he doesn't say I'm from Europe. He says I'm from Germany. I'm from a particular province. I still got people out there, right? You know, when people say hold on. When people say they from Asia, they tell you where about from Asia they from. They tell you their province. They tell you they still got people out there. These people will confirm that they are indeed a part of their heritage. But you niggas was calling y'all African? Oh, mysteriously, you have no contact with the people you say you descend from. So I don't believe you. Bro.
Hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. The roots of a tree and not hate the tree.
You ain't no Indian, please try again. Everybody know you's an African. And Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root without hating the tree. Now take a look at you, you's a wannabe Cherokee. And I told you before, you need some therapy. And why you never show the genealogy? You owe your ancestors an apology. And you know they turning over inside of their graves just because you don't wanna come from a slave. So you gotta take this whip in. I caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Hey, caught another apple slipping. Hey, caught another apple slipping. Hey, caught another apple. Caught another. Let's go. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Yo, check this out, man. You wasn't already here, man. Dane Calloway lied to you, man. The research guy lied to you, man. Karimio lied to you, man. Your ancestors come from Africa, whether you like it or not. So no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will always be an African. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the evidence. You can't deny the genealogy. You can't deny the DNA. You can't deny it, man. Whether you like it or not, you are African. Caught an apple slipping. That's all we do. That's all we do. Let's go.
Got some dewy-eyed thing that you got a friend. I still ask you to look at that mirror. And if nothing's staring back at you is friendly, then you've got no friend.
What's good with everybody, man? It's your boy Sean P in the place to be, man. Make sure you like the show, share the show, tell a friend, we live. Man, Sunday afternoon. I don't know what y'all got going on, but we're here. Oh, man, I'm about to kick your ass out the chat, spamming the chat. What up, not a coincidence? Hey, man, make sure y'all like the show, share the show. It's going to be very informative. I'm freezing up, I know. Yep. Freezing up. Why you keep telling us when you be back? That was early. All right, so peace to everybody in the chat, man. I see we got Brother Keenan in the building. Reloaded is in the building. Willie, what up, dog? Not a coincidence. We got Thurman, we got Teddy, Fathead Mika, Swindle Hood, Wink, Tark in the building. We pretty much got everybody in the building, man, for real. Those of you who haven't commented, you know, like the show, share the show. Real, what's good with you, bro? I think I just seen you pop in. This dude here, funny guy. Oh man, what's good? What's good? First, let me do this real quick, and y'all let me know if I sound diluted, chopped up, whatever the case may be. Let me get this on the screen for us. Don't hear this shit up. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We here. There you go. So before we get started with the show, man, make sure y'all go over the same tree, different branch. The link is pinned in the chat. If you just click the pinned link in the chat, support the brother, man. Just add to the cart, $3. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a whole lot of nothing. You know, anytime you see me drop an article or something like that and price it, support it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't care. I don't do the cash app. I don't hit y'all in no cash app. I don't bet, you know what I mean? I don't do that whole thing. The channel not monetized. We just ask y'all to support the work. What up, Rye? This is one of the reasons and ways to be able to help us do what we do. But in this instance, it's not even about me because all the proceeds and stuff is to help keep the channel up and running. I mean, not the channel, the site up and running, and to keep the magazine, you know, all the other stuff and efforts that y'all see Kofi make, keep those things going. But this is an article that took a little time to make. You're going to see some very interesting things in this particular article for those of you who have already read it, and just kind of hear it out. There will be more added to this. This may end up being a larger work as time goes on. And one of the reasons for that is because we know all they do is deny. So that's why you have denialistic amnesia. Think about that. And this is not really a thing, but I'm going to make it a thing. The denialistic amnesia among these people, because we'll educate them on something, and then a few days later, they'll act like we didn't educate them on it. And then they'll start denying everything else at that point. So it's a circular process between them, this forgetful thought. And I don't know, man. I'm diagnosing them eyeballs with and FBA. But yeah, man, make sure y'all tap into that. So, Rail, you've been on the Masi Warrior Clan community post. There's a FBA guy. He is just going crazy with the notifications because he's trying to argue all these different things. And he said that they are gatekeeping Black history in America was one of the comments that he had said. And I'm like, gatekeeping? How you gatekeeping who you are and the history that you have in Americas? Like, who do you think you are? Talking about this gatekeeping. It's kind of crazy, but man, I need y'all help and support, man. I need about 100 of y'all to go over there, man. And ain't even a lot of people that were just, even the people who disagree. If you disagree with being African or identifying as African, this is one of those articles that you should be able to read on your channel or amongst your viewers, and then attack it and refute the information that is in the article. Y'all should be Smoke Signal. You should be live right now, tearing this apart. Dulcinea, you should be live right now, tearing it apart. Top Cats, Dane, all the Abos, all y'all should be, because y'all tagged in it, all y'all should be live tearing it apart. Because none of y'all are going to break down a debate between, I don't call it a debate, but we're going to just use it for the sake of using it. But the debate the other day with Vernell, y'all ain't even tried to break the debate down. Even my rounds in that. You didn't even, y'all are steered clear. And Cosmon showed up on here late after the whole process was over. None of y'all are dealing with the information. And someone asked me, a melanated goddess asked me, she said, do they ever attack anything that I present over here? I said, I've never seen them do it. Not me, not YK, not a coincidence. I've never seen them attack or refute anything that we teach. And then there you go. Look at Cheese in the chat. We got Funky Cheese in the chat lying to itself. Cheese said FBA is the greatest Black nation in the entire world. Where they descend from? Cheese. Who the FBA descend from? Cheese. Huh? Who? This man said created over 50,000 patents, including the cell phone. So now we know that you ain't talking about nobody from FBA. 50,000 patents? Negro, y'all just started 2 years ago. Y'all ain't got a single patent in your name. African Americans do, but no one that labeled or called themselves FBA. See, you're not going to be able to claim our history as yours, because it's not yours. That history belongs to the descendants of Africa. That's where it belongs to. So you ain't no descendant, remember? Benjamin Bannock, exactly. It ain't nothing. So that history, Black history ain't your history, bro. Juneteenth ain't your history, bro. None of that is yours. Your people didn't endure that. Them was Africans that endured that, bro. They went through that harsh. Not you. You a new person. You just sprouted up out the country like out the ground like the Abos claim. He said, what did he say? The FBA family are chosen. Yeah, there you go. Now you sound religious. Chosen people. Nigga, ain't nothing about you chosen. Let's get this show on the road. Yeah, man. So again, the link to the article is pinned. I just ask y'all to go support. Read the article. I know some people have already got it and read it. I'm assuming. But I know how y'all don't like to support black people. So y'all ain't got $3. You ain't got $3. And we don't even, you know what I'm saying? We don't even come for all of that. But man, make sure y'all hit that link, bro, and just go over and support. So this is an article that Not a Coincidence has. This is an article that I have, and this is an article that you have. Okay? And basically what I mean by that is we need to get into something. And I'm glad that Cheese is in the chat. So shout out to Cheese and any other person that's from that walk of life, New Age cult. So this article is titled From 20 and Odd to 10 Million, the Growth of the Slave Population in the United States. The significance of this article is because the Abos have now conceded that there was a transatlantic slave trade. I'm going to repeat it again. This is important because the Abo community has conceded. Remember, the slave trade didn't happen. Then it happened in reverse. Now they agree that it did happen, and to what faction did it happen? So now we're dealing with numbers, statistical data, right? Now we're having we're going back and forth between qualitative and quantitative, right? Know the different arguments and the different methodologies that are required to outline how to answer the research question. Are we dealing with qualitative or quantitative, right? Now, I know a lot of that might go out of a lot of people's heads, but just look up the words for yourself, and then you'll understand. This is a quantitative conversation now. Or is it a qualitative conversation? Who knows? We done dealt with the qualitative part. Are dealing with the quantitative part now. The reason that we're dealing with the quantitative part is because now that they have conceded that the transatlantic slave trade happened, it is about the numbers. So now they are separating 12.5 million and saying that they went into all these other places, and now they are isolating the almost 400,000 that came directly from Africa to North America, what we know today as the United States. They never mind the people that were brought over here in the Caribbeans, Central America, and South America, which were brought in, some were brought in through those channels into North America, what we know today as the United States. However, they are trying to classify now that, okay, a transatlantic slave trade happened, but it was only 300,000. So how do we get to X, Y, and Z? It's 44 million black people over here. And then some even go out to the extent to say, well, that was only 300,000. And so there's no way that 300 or 400,000 people turned into 10 million. What's good, Sister Kim? So let's deal with it. They don't they don't deal with quantitative data. We're dealing with statistical data. So we can show the evidence for population booms from the earliest onset of data walking up into present. And we can also show where black people in America, our population growth has declined or slowed at a rate that it wasn't and was before. So real brief, This research note describes the growth of the slave population in the United States and develops several measures of its size and growth, including an estimate of the total number of slaves who ever lived in the United States. Estimates of the numbers of birth and slave imports are provided in 10-year increments between 1619 to 1860 and in 1-year increments between 1861 to 65. The results highlight the importance of natural increase to rapid growth of the U.S. slave population and indicate that approximately 10 million slaves lived in the United States, where they contributed to 410 billion hours of labor. A concluding discussion highlights a few descriptive statistic historians might find useful, including the cumulative number of slaves who lived in the United States by decade and the proportion of slaves who were living at various moments in U.S. history, including shortly after the ratification of the Constitution in 1788 and at the start of the American Civil War in 1861. So, I ain't going through this again, but this starts off highlighting the 1619 story. No, we ain't forgetting 1526, which would be when the first Africans touched the soils, and it was a small number, but we're dealing with the 1619 story and growing from there. So initially, the first 20 people arrived. We know that we know how that comes about. 20 and some odd Negroes. We know that story based on historical fact and record, right? But then it goes on to say, from that small beginning, the slave population grew rapidly. In 1790, the first census of the United States counted 697,624 slaves. In 1860, the 8th census counted 3.9 million. So from 1790 just to 1860, you had a huge growth in the slave population. Right? I know what you're thinking. Nah, that don't even sound right. Okay. So this was a remarkable growth for two factors. One, continued importation of new slaves from Africa and the Caribbean. I'm going to say it again. So this is how people don't understand how the numbers begin to grow. So we're going to give them to you slowly. There was new people brought in from Africa and the Caribbean. And then you had a natural population growth. Now, YK the Truth has tried to tell you this. Not a coincidence has tried to tell you this. Now, I guess it's my turn, or Shah's son, or somebody else's turn, to try to dummy it down for the dummies. There was two factors: a continuum importation of new slaves from Africa and the Caribbeans, even during the illegal slave trade era. And you had a natural population growth, especially among American-born slaves. Who are the slaves that we're talking about? People from Africa. Even if they were brought from the Caribbeans into the United States, they were from Africa. I made it available for you to be able to download Mouth of Minds. It is available to you. If you go into the description of this video, I leave the sources. You can grab those sources and you would be able to get the actual copy for yourself. So great question. It is available to you for sure. All right, Cheese. We dealing with the facts. So now you gotta argue different. So let's continue. Although slave imports accounted for most of the population growth in the 17th century, continued to be a significant factor until the federal government abolished the legal importation of slaves in 1808. Natural population growth was the more important of the two factors over the long run. The robust natural population growth of the slave population in the United States in dramatic contrast to negative rates of growth experienced by slave populations in the Caribbean and South America, which continue to grow only because of continued import of slaves via the transatlantic slave trade. At the outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861, slaves in the United States comprised about 50% of the slaves living in the Western Hemisphere, despite the U.S. being the destination of less than 4% of the slaves surviving the transatlantic Middle Passage. Demography is therefore central to our understanding on how and why slavery developed in the United States and how it differed from slavery elsewhere in the hemisphere. The growth of the slave population has important implications for comparative studies of slave well-beings, disease environments, treatment, work regimes, and the ability to form families. The relative contributions of the international slave trade and natural population growth to the slave population have important implications for the proportions of the slave population born in Africa, or born locally in the development of slave culture. Ongoing debates about the contributions of slaves in political foundations and economic growth of the United States depends in large on the size of the slave population, as do cost estimates for possible financial reparations to the descendants of former slaves. So in 2019, US Today published an online graphic feature charting the growth of the slave population in the United States to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the arrival of slaves in Virginia. I was consulted about the total number of the slaves who had ever lived in the United States, including slaves who lived in England, French, and Spanish territories that eventually became part of the United States. Although the number of slaves who lived in the United States is of obvious importance to our understanding and the institution of human cost to the contribution of slave labor to the nation's growth and development, I was unable to find a published estimate and forced to construct my own. So I did so by compartmentalizing. So now he's telling us what he did. So we got the methodology down. All right. So here we go. This research note shows the results of his estimation procedures together with other statistics implied by the series, including the number of slave births, slave imports, and the rate of natural increase in decade from 1620 to 1860. I'm going to skip ahead because I want to hear Cheese try to debunk this. You're here for a reason, Cheese. Are you here to learn, or are you here to refute the information presented? And if you're here to refute the information presented, I hope that you have a source that will help us. Now, all the results are shown in Table 1 from what was mentioned earlier on. And I'm going to get to Table 1. It showed the estimated number of slaves living at the start and the end of the interval. These data come from two sources. For the colonial era, relied on John McCuster's estimates of the size of the Black population published in the millennial edition of Historical Statistics. This is the source. Historical Statistics of the United States. Adjusted to the account for the small percentage of colonial Black population estimated to have been free. So now we have a slave pop data and we have a free pop data set. For the and free Black populations from the federal census taken over the 10 years. So we got that. Now, let's go look at this chart. And I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back because I need to show y'all something first so you can see it. We got statistical data here, ladies and gentlemen. And I need to give you a visual of this chart. And it's a lot of information. So for anybody that's actually interested in this article, hold up, let me zoom out a little bit. If you're interested in this article, you are not, hold up. Yeah, here you go. You are not going to read all of this because you're going to be scared. So here we go. This is the chart, and I'm going to come back. But I have to give you a visualization because a lot of people are visual creatures, and being visual creatures, you don't have a tolerance for nothing but cartoons and 140 character comments. This is from 1660 to 1860. And this is showing you statistical data about the rise and the fall of the population. And that is from the rate of natural increase. Here is the number of slaves during that portion. 1660 low. 1700s, you start seeing growth, and this is by the millions. That's why these numbers right in this little box right here are low. The gray line is the number currently living, and this is a cumulative number of who live, and it's cut off right here because it's only going to 1860, and you start seeing a number, you start seeing a spike. But right here, from this period, there was a huge population spike to get up to 10 million. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Where they getting this from, right? Right. You should be thinking that. Like, where they getting this data from? Although he's told us already, and I read it to you, we're still gonna deal with it. So, and remember, it's by a 10-year growth. This is the growth of the slave population in the United States from 1619 to 1865. I know you can't see. This is why I always give people sources, because I don't want no excuse. So at the top, we have the population at the beginning. Just look. Population at the end, 10-year growth percentage, the number of persons lived, the millions of hours worked, the assumed birth rate, the number of births, imported, smuggled, increase, natural increase rate. This is, natural, combined births and imports, percentage total, cumulative number who lived, and then a percentage. So for the slow people, look at the first column and look at the second column. Every 10 years, the numbers grow tremendously up into a point that at the end of the 10 years, we set at a population like this. Now, mind you, the regular population for peoples who lived is number 4. Out of 35 million people that was on the census in 1850 and 1860, 3.9 million of them were slaves. And they were people of African descent. Look at the white population. If you just look at it, 35.6 million minus 3.9 million. And then a smaller number of that if you want to count some Indians. Now Cheese is an Indian in the chat. This dude is ridiculously crazy. Ain't no black aboriginals in America. That's where you messed up. Either you're FBA or you abo. Or you both. I don't know what the fuck y'all got going on. This is new to me. All right, so let me go back up now. Let's go back up to the data. We just showed a chart. So now we should be able to understand what's being said here about these percentages. Let me go to column 1 and column 2, because that's what we just dealt with. So the results of column 1 and 2, which we showed the estimated number of slaves living at the start and the end of each interval. The data sets come from two sources. The first colonial area relied on John McCuster's estimates of the size of the black population. This was published in Historical Statistics of the United States. That's the evidence. It's where the evidence comes from for 1 and 2. Okay. Now, then it says, we included small adjustments suggested by researchers to account for an estimated number of slaves in territories not enumerated by the census. So there's census data. For the period of 1861 to 65, we assume the slave population continued to grow annually, rate observed for the black population between the 1860 and 70 census, which was at 0.94%, but was at the same time reduced by 500,000 emancipated slaves over the course of the war, either self-emancipated by running away or via combined efforts of the occupation of slavery territory by Union forces and other emancipation proclamations. I'm going to stop right here, and then I'm going to switch the page to slavery in the United States. Slavery is a fundamental economic phenomenon. Throughout history, slavery has existed where it has been economically worthwhile to those in power. The principal example in modern times in the U.S. South, nearly 4 million slaves with a market value of $4 billion lived in the U.S. just before the war. Masters enjoyed rates of return on slaves comparable to those of assets. Cotton consumers, insurance companies, and industrial enterprises benefited from slavery as well. Such valuable property require rules to protect it, and an institutional practices surrounding slavery display a sophistication that rivals modern-day law business. This is the funny part. This dude in the chat talking about he FBA. What? Bro, you tripping. You just trolling, bro. You at this point, you just making up shit in the chat just to be making up shit. You ain't got no evidence. You just making up shit, and I can prove it because I can show you statistical data and a historical record, and then you're gonna deny those, and then you're gonna come up with your own shit because you ain't got no evidence for what you're saying in the chat. Complete retard. The spread of slavery in the U.S. So not long after Columbus hit the New World, the French and the Spanish brought slaves with them to various expeditions. Slaves accompanied Ponce de Leon in Florida in 1513, for instance, but a far greater proportion of the slaves arrived in chains and crowded, sweltering cargo holds. The first dark-skinned slaves in what was to become the British North America arrived in Virginia, perhaps stopping first in Spanish lands in 1619 aboard a vessel, the Dutch vessel. From 15 to 1900, approximately 12 million Africans were forced from their homes to go westward, with 10 million of them completing the journey. Yet very few ended up in the British colonies and young American Republic. By 1808, when the transatlantic slave trade to the U.S. officially ended, only 6% of the African slaves landed in the New World had come to North America. Colonial slavery had a slow start, particularly in the North. The proportion there never got above 5% of the total population. Scholars have speculated to why without coming to a definite conclusion. Some surmise that indentured servants were fundamentally better suited to the northern climate, crops, and task at hand. Some claim that anti-slavery sentiment provided an explanation. At the time of the American Revolution, fewer than 10% of 500,000 slaves in the 13 colonies resided in the North, working primarily in agriculture. New York had the greatest number with over 20,000. New Jersey had 12,000 slaves. Vermont was the first northern region to abolish slavery, and it became an independent republic in 1777. Most of the original colonies implemented processes of gradual emancipation in the late 18th and 19th century. Ohio in 1808 and Indiana in 1816, for instance. So here's a chart. And again, this comes from the source of Historical Statistics of the United States. The white population in 1715 was 108. I mean, I ended up being in these different places. You got the states over here on the right-hand side. You got the number in those states on the left-hand side. So we're just focused on these states, and then overall. So there was 934,340 whites that was on the statistical data or the census in 1750. For blacks, it was 236,420 in 1750. Watch this number. By 1790, you gotta watch the number. 1790, the white population went from 934,000. Let me zoom in. Yeah, now y'all can see, my bad. Went from 934,000, this number, to 2.7 million. Free people was 58,000. So you can see, slaves in 1790 was 681,000, up from 236,000. Move up some more years, 1810, the white population went from 2.7 to 4.4. Now, why the ABOs and the FBAs and the engines and all these other weird ass people, why the hell they ain't got a problem with the white people population growth in America? Why do y'all, why do y'all not have a problem with the white population growth in America? It just went from 2.7 million to 4.4 million. The free black population went from 58,000 to 167. And then the slave population grew from 681,000 to 1 million. But look at this jump for the white population versus the others. In 1860, 12.6 million white people. They multiplied by 3. The free blacks increased by almost 200,000. But the slave population increased by 700,000. This ain't all the data. This is just in these particular areas: Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Virginia. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 colonies. Please, I don't need to look up the definition of Aboriginal. You are not the first people that Columbus saw when he arrived in the United States. The first people that Columbus saw, he didn't describe them at all. You don't look Oriental or like the Orientals. You don't have a certain skin tone that these people possess. You are full of shit. Cheese, so quit asking me to look up something. You look it up. Now, slavery in the South. Throughout the colonial antebellum history, U.S. slaves lived primarily in the South. Slaves comprised less than 10% of the Southern population in 1680, but grew to a third by 1790. At the date, 293,000 slaves lived in Virginia alone, making up 42% of all slaves in the U.S. at the time. South Carolina, North Carolina, Maryland, each had over 100,000 slaves. The American Revolution, the Southern slave population exploded, reaching 1.1 million by 1810 and over 3.9 by 1860. There is a growth of that from 1790 to 1860. You got the white population went from 1.2 million to 8 million in 1860. The free non-white, which is the key word, free non-white, They went from 32,000 to 253,000. The slave population went from 634,000 in 1790 to 3.9 million, almost 4 million by 1860. I really don't care about slave ownership because that's pretty much what this next data is, but then it started getting into more specifics. Okay. But this is laying the framework for what we've been saying. Now, since we got Buddy in the chat and he running his mouth, skin color and status. No, let's do it this way. Legal status of slaves and blacks. Nope. Yeah, let's go. By the end of the 17th century, the status of blacks, slave or free, tended to follow the status of their mothers. Generally, white persons were not slaves, but Native and African Americans could be. One odd case was the offspring of a free white woman and a slave. The law often bound these people to servitude for 31 years. Conversion to Christianity could set a slave free in the early colonial period, but this practice quickly disappeared. Skin color and status. Southern law legally identified skin color with status. Those who appeared African or of African descent were generally presumed to be slaves. Virginia was the only state to pass a statute that actually classified people by race. Essentially, it considered those with 1/4 or more black ancestry as black. One drop rule. Other states use informal tests in addition to visual inspection. 1/4, 1/8, or 1/16 black ancestry might categorize a person as black. Even if black proved their freedom, they ain't said nothing about the Native Americans right here. Even if blacks proved their freedom, they enjoy a little higher status than slaves, except to some extent in Louisiana. Many southern states forbid free persons of color from becoming preachers, selling certain goods, tending bars, staying out of the past certain night, owning dogs, among other things. The federal law denied black persons citizenship until Dred Scott, 1857. In this case, Chief Judge Roger Taney also determined that visiting a free state did not free a slave who returned to a slave state, nor did traveling to a free territory ensure emancipation. We don't have to play these games with these people, okay? We don't. Guess what? Black people couldn't own white slaves. So that whole myth is out the window too. It's all here in the statistical data. This is why I make it available to everybody. So let me see. Do I want to go here? Yeah, let's go here. So let's go to the Library of Congress real quick. There's a photo up here. Map showing the distribution of the slave population. Right here. Now, just real brief. According to the census, the population of the United States that year in 1860 was 31.4 million. Of that number, 3.9 million were reported as enslaved. How did we go from 20 and some odd Negroes to 3.9 million by 1860? If you're paying attention to the statistical data, it is gradually showing a rate increase that kept up over a period of time until you have an explosion. You have several different explosions that happen. So this is slave states specifically. So I want to get into this. Watch this. No, I ain't doing slavery in the United States. I can say that for y'all future reading. In 1790, when the census was first taken, let's see if we find Aboriginal anywhere in this census data. find me Aboriginal in the census data on any census. Find me the Aboriginals on any census record from 1790 to 1860. See if you can find Aboriginal on them. Non-existent. He said FBA ain't African. Then you ain't even black. How's you foundational black Americans and then you saying you ain't even African? Find me Aboriginal or FBA on census records. In 1790, when the first census was taken, African Americans numbered about 760,000, about 19% of the population. In 1860, at the start of the Civil War, the African American population increased to 4.4 million. But the percentage rate dropped to 14% of the overall population of the country. The vast majority were slaves, with only 488,000 counted as freedmen. So listen to that. Listen to this data. This is 1860 data. There were 488,000 counted as freedmen out of 4 million, 4.4 million. By 1900s, the black population doubled and reached 8.8 million. We went from 20 and some odd Negroes up until they started counting the census in 1790 and was 760,000 to a population boost by 1860 to over 4.4 million, to then turning around out of the 4.4 million, 488,000 counted as freedmen. By the 1900s, 40 years later from 1860, the black population doubled in 40 years. It went from 4.4 to 8.8. That's the first population boom. In 1910, 90% of African Americans lived in the South, but large numbers began migrating north, looking for better job and opportunity living conditions and to escape Jim Crow and racial violence. The Great Migration, as it was called, spanned from the 1890s to 1970s. From 1916 through the 1960s, more than 6 million black people moved north. But in the 70s and 80s, the trend reversed, with more African Americans moving south to the Sun Belt than leaving it. By 1990, the African American population reached 30 million. So, ladies and gentlemen, from the last statistical data that we showed in this example, in 1900, from 1900, you had 8.8 million. In 1990, 90 years later, the population grew from 8.8 million to 30 million by 1990. Today, we have 44 to 48 million. I don't even know how many people it is. I know it's less than 50 million because it's a slower rate. Hold on, let me get this off. Oh, I can't. All right, so again, for the slowpoke, 1790, the population is by the millions. This was under a million. Over a million, 1800. 3.6 million in 1850. 8.8 in 1900. In 1910, 9.8. In 1920, 10 and a half. In 1930, 11.9. 1940, 12.9. 1950, 15 million. 1960, 18.9 million. 70s, 22.6 million. 1980, 26.5. 1930, 90, 30 million. 2000s, 34.6. 2010, 38.9. 2020, 41. We're at 44 million a day. Crazy. Crazy. And the whole time you sitting here like, how in the world is that happening? How is it like 200, 300, a million white people here? But you saying all the wrong shit. because you don't know how to argue, and you don't know quantitative or qualitative research methodologies to be able to answer the research question. But yet y'all keep going on these shows and try to say Eltis said this and Eltis said that, and not understanding what Eltis said about a natural population growth, and you try to dismiss it to dumb it down to that he only said 300,000 came from Africa and think that's the end all be all. No, we wasn't at 44 million when he's telling you that right under 400,000 people came directly from Africa. You messing the whole argument up, and you ain't even trying to logically explain away it. You just trying to, oh wow, yeah, bullshit. Goyo says they are not American. Nah, they definitely are not. They not American Indians. They damn sure ain't African Americans or the descendants of Africans. We don't know who they are because all we getting is white people statistics, black people statistics who are descendants from from Africa, and then the native statistics. We have no explanation for who an FBA is or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, Aboriginal. We have no statistical data explaining away that shit. So the black enslaved populations of the United States from 1790 to 1880 is more the same. I know I'm beating a dead horse. I know that I'm beating a dead horse. But my point here is that the statistical data, the quantitative research has been done and explains it away. And this is more updated. There were almost 700,000 slaves in the U.S. by 1790, which equated to approximately 18% of the total population, roughly 1 in every 6 people. By 1860, the final census taken before the American Civil War, there were 4 million slaves in the South, compared with less than 0.5 free African Americans in all of the U.S. And of the 4.4 million African Americans in the U.S. before the war, almost 4 million of those were held as slaves, meaning that for all African Americans living in the U.S. in 1860, there was an 89% chance that they lived in slavery. So who in the rightful hell is these so-called Aboriginals? Where are they in world history? Non-existing. We have no data on these people. I don't want to keep beating the dead horse because all of this is just repeating itself over and over and over again. So let's go to the census chart, which is measuring race and ethnicity across the decades from 1790 to 2010. This is a map to the 1997 U.S. Office Management and Budget Classification Standards. I'm going to zoom in, and we are going to look for the Aboriginals. I'm going to zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in. So I'm going to deal with 1790 zoom in. And all we have here is slaves, free white females and males, and then all other persons. 1780, we move up to the 1800s. We got slaves, free white males and females and males, and then all other persons. Aboriginals, are you claiming to be the all other persons? If you're listening to this show and you're in the chat, are you all other persons? Let's go up to 1810. Same, slaves, free white and female, free white male and females, and then all of the persons. And 10 years later, slaves. Look, slaves. This time they added free persons of color. Free persons of color. They've added a new category. Then they still got free white male and females, and then all other persons. Then we go to 1830. The same shit. Slaves, free colored persons, free white male and females, all other persons. 1840, slaves, free colored persons, free white females and males, and then all other persons. Who are you in this data? Then watch where we go. Let's move it over. We at 1850. Look what they done added. They done went from free colored persons to black, mulatto. So now they've shifted the data from slaves and free colored persons to black, mulatto, white. They done took the female and males off. Now, and then they removed, what did they remove? All other persons. 1860. Look what they added 1860. They started not counting them in 1850. In 1860, shit. Indian, Chinese, black, mulatto, white. Same shit up here. Indian, Chinese, Japanese. Look what they did. Black, mulatto, quadroon, octoroon, white. Who the fuck is quadroon and octoroon in 1890? Maybe that's the Abos. In the 1900s, Indian, Chinese, black. Look, they didn't changed it now. Black as in Negro or of Negro descent. White. In 1920, 10 years after that, we got Indians, Chinese, Japanese, black, Negro, mulatto, white, and we got other. Maybe this the Abos. In 1910. Is this the Abos or the FBA members in the 1910s? Because in 1920, they go Indian, Chinese, Filipino, Hindu, Japanese, Korean. Then they got black, Negro, or mulatto, white, and other. In the 30s, it's the same shit. Look what they started doing. Indian, Chinese, Filipino, Hindu, Japanese, Korean, Negro. So now they don't even just use black no more. They just going straight Negro, and then Mexican, and then white, and then other. In 1940. Damn, let me go down. 1940. Indian, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Hindu, Korean, Negro, white, other. I ain't seen Aboriginal, FBA, none of that. 1950. American Indian. They've been more specific now. American Indian, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Negro, white, other. 1960. Oh boy. Inuit, American Indian, Eskimo, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Negro, Hawaiian, part Hawaiian, white. It's all there. They've been doing this shit, telling you who people is. Indian, American, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Korean, Negro, or black. Origin of descent of Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Central or South American, and other Spanish. Hawaiian, white, other. In 1980, Inuit, Eskimo, Indian, Asian Indian, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, black or Negro. Then they got the Mexicans, Hawaiians. Come on, man. Like, what are we doing, bro? I ain't even got to keep going. We don't have any category that says Aboriginal. We knew that the pink, all other persons, were referring to the indigenous peoples that inhabited the lands before a black person or a white person ever got here. Meaning that the first peoples, who are what we call present day Native Americans outside of their tribal name, respectfully, disrespectfully, whatever you want to say to that, who they were. So where is the Aboriginals? So this is why this is important. And the data that we just ran through, it ain't got nothing to do with this. That's why I said this data and other stuff can be added into this, because it starts separating the argument down even more to a quantitative method. You got to go pick this up. It's pinned. Thomas, Oklahoma. Kevin Troy. Y'all have to go on the same tree, different branch. The link is pinned, and grab and read this article. All the indigenous people of the Americas. You got to read this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Life and Life. Did you get an opportunity to grab it? Or did you still needed the assistance to be able to grab it? Because it should have let you do it. If you didn't have PayPal, you should have been able to do it another way. Not one FBA, BHI, or more. Not one. Appreciate the support. Notice I came on here from a show. I ain't talking about no debate. I ain't doing none of that. I ain't giving it up to nobody. I'm letting y'all do that. I'm letting y'all judge what happened the other day to Vernell. The article is up. Now the statistical conversation that we're having with the the conversation that we're having with the Aboriginals now, or the ones who claim to be Aboriginal or Indigenous or FBA or whatever the fuck they want to call, is about statistical data. Now we get in on the real work. So I showed y'all in part the statistical data. What is their argument for that? You want me to pull David Eltz's book up, Tyron, where he tells you that natural population is what happened with all these Africans? The natural population birth? Huh? Hell yeah, Friday. I definitely clowns. I dropped a link in the chat for you, Cheese. You want to hit the link and come tell us about this? Then he says, I find your content comical and entertaining. In other words, Jesse Jackson keep hope alive. What? Come on now. You see how petty and childish that is? Instead of you challenging and refuting the information to help strengthen your argument as a so-called claimant of FBA or Aboriginal America, the least you could do is say that. So you have no counter argument to the statistical data that was provided today. You just want to manifest your belief into being something real. You a cult. You in a cult, bro. Denialism is real. Denialism is real. The article is out. It's released now. In part. And when some of y'all get to reading what this shit is about, it's gonna hit different. And this is what they are afraid of. They are afraid of they are really, really, really afraid of the real shit. And Cheese, I define Aboriginal in this article and Indigenous in this article. I also define Negro. I also define Black. Cop it. See what it's about. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The most delusional person of them all has appeared in the chat. Look what he says, V-Note. Sean Peckerwood reaction tonight. No one is coming to watch you. After the display of ignorance you put on the other day, bro, you had somebody that ain't never been on my channel watch that and call you out in the comment section. I don't even know who this dude is, bro. He don't even be, I ain't never seen him comment ever. He just so happened to see, I guess he's seeing it on Facebook and watched your display of dumbassness, and he was displeased. Clearly, as Honey Clark told you, there was two separate things going on. And you didn't understand what she meant by that. You wasn't qualified, bro. You wasn't qualified. Now, I ain't said nothing about the debate since it happened. You got to deal with that. So if you're going to do a show and talk about it, you do a show and talk about it, bro. But when people go and watch it, they are clearly going to see that you having a whole conversation about some shit that you wasn't even ready to have a conversation about. Yeah, we know you good. We know that. We know you good. Like I said, get this article right here. Go on Same Tree, Different Branch of Support. You talk all that junk. Go on Same Tree, Different Branch. Get this, read this, and break this down. Challenge this. Argue against this. Let's see if you're prepared to do that. By our side. Let's see if you're ready to do that. Enough with the ethnicity of the Black Seminoles, because you ain't no real Seminole. You didn't show me no real Seminoles. You definitely didn't show me no real Seminoles. The people that we was talking about was supposed to be the Black Seminole, bro. But yeah, man, it's a lot of y'all in here today. Hit this link, show some support for the brother, man. Come on, one time for the one time. Just go over here, Same Tree, Different Branches. Pin, the link is pinned in the chat at the top. It's pinned in the chat at the top. And I'm going to drop the link again just because. Hit that link. Grab that article. Trust me. Grab that article. And even if you don't like me, you hate me, despise me, and want nothing to do but just ruin my name, get the article, break it down, and critique it. Say it's written very poorly. Say you didn't do this. You argue from ignorance. You ain't do that. Whatever you want to do that to this. In every other article or book that I've written, challenge the information. I'm challenging yours every day. Every time y'all say something stupid, we pull up the facts. We get directly to the facts. What are the facts? The facts are the information provided that we can actually cross-reference, etc. I don't need you here. Get the article. This ain't even about you and the whole Seminole shit. So what is it?
What it do? So man, people after reaction is definitely 3-0, but I definitely could have presented it a little bit better, a little bit stuff right there. I probably could have had a little bit, a little bit more presentation with it, which is it's just all good. It's my first time getting out there like that, as far as the presentation part. But as far as the game is there.
The game is not there, bro. It's not. Go read the comments.
Show you the people.
Go read the comments and go read the chat.
But the nigga was wrong about the Gullah shit,
So
nigga. I bust
go
down the Gullah
read
shit.
comments
That's
and
why
go
I
read
what I need
comments
to
and
read.
go read.
What I need to read your fans' comments for?
No. Some of them people don't even know me, bro. Go read the comments and go read
Them
the
niggas think the same way you think.
Man, goodbye, bro. I ain't doing this with you, bro. I told you this ain't even about that, bro. Go do your show. Go do your show, bro. I'm not doing that, bro. Talk, appreciate you, bro. $3 is all I'm asking for, man. And it's a lot. I took my time out to break this down and give y'all a little bit of some. I did it twice. Cause Kofi released the new magazine. It's an article in there. Bro, I ain't got time. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to be arguing with him. That debate over with, bro. I ain't said nothing else about that. You know what I'm saying? Talk about what, yeah, that's what you do. You know, you go over there and see what you could get better at. And just rewatch it. So when you doing whatever you doing over there, okay, cool. So once you purchase it, it should automatically, it'll be a link sent to your email where you can download it. It should be in a PDF form. If you run into an issue or error, just email us and then we get you straight. We definitely get you straight. But you shouldn't have no issues or problems because they all downloadable. Hell yeah, he in denial, bro. Vyasa said, I don't know why I keep saying that. Sean, turn that article into a second book where COVID lockdown taught me about social media ideologies. Yeah, once you click on the link and you add it to cart and then you go and do your purchase methods, it's going to email you. And then when it email you, it's going to be a link. And then when you download the link, you'll have the file and you'll be able to go from there. I know the Abos ain't going to do it because, I mean, we buy their books. We buy their books so we can debunk them. What else, Shabaka? We buy their books just to debunk them and refute the information. And you know what I'm saying? And then when we respond via writing, they don't buy books. So they don't know what the responses are. When we present the information, they try to ignore it and act like we don't exist. He said, I got the file directly from the site on my phone. I didn't even think of checking my emails. Okay. Yeah, it'll do that. It'll send you that file. No play. But yeah, man, the new Aboriginal question is about the statistical data. And so instead of cross-referencing the statistical data, they have now begun to just start trying to diminish the involvement or the number of the population that is responsible for growing in America that comes up out of the slave population. So there was a number of things that I did today in this bill that people can actually extract and take from and apply it. But yeah, Vernell, I ain't mean to call you Vino. Vernell is your name. Man, I'm not gonna argue with you over some real shit, bro. Everybody could go back and press play. Everybody can see what the fuck happened to you. We ain't gotta make nothing up, sugarcoat. We ain't gotta do none of that, bro. Like you literally what you did, and people wasn't clowning you because of what you was presenting or your presentation. Your information wasn't there. You keep saying that the information was there. No, it was not, bro. You was off topic. Why is you showing videos of people in Oklahoma and mentioning people in Texas and all of that? You weren't even talking about who the people were that was the originators of this shit before they even leave up out of Florida. Who are these people? You didn't do that. So you can do whatever you want to do with it. I ain't finna, and I'm not watching or arguing with you about that, bro. All I'm going to tell people to do is just press play on the debate. See what happens. That's it. We ain't got to make nothing up. We ain't got to drag nothing out. So let me take all of y'all to the Masi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Yeah, it don't take no time to receive it. Definitely don't take no time. All right, so here go the debate right here. And it really wasn't even a debate because clearly he was outclassed. He was definitely outclassed. I'm not even gonna lie. And I felt it too. That's why I was like, man, I felt bad. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep after that because the way I treated him and the way I did him, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't right. And by the way, this all the sources right there for anything that I presented. I don't even know who this man is right here. Bogus from the time he started talking. Lorenzo Dow Turner did his research at South Carolina State in Orangeburg, South Carolina, long before the 70s. I don't have to say anything because everybody else is going to see and hear it and correct you, fool. Unc Banu was live, bro. Missed all that. So let me show y'all something else. Y'all seen Tyron Ling leaving comments in the chat. So let's have a little fun with that for a second before I gotta do what I gotta do. So let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all Ling long, ling. Sean P. Not a coincidence. What's your Bantu language? Who are you? Don't speak a Bantu language. We are the indigenous aborigines. We are the copper color, Sean P. We are not Africans. We are not none of that, Sean P. Sean P. Tell me this, Sean P. You said that the Black Seminoles was peoples from Africa, right? Right? But these are my peoples, Sean P. We ain't no Africans. We was the indigenous peoples. We always been here, Sean P. And I'm gonna show you today how we is these peoples. Yeah, Sean P. Vino's gonna show you, Sean P. Like, yo, the two most annoying people in this space. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, they like retarded. I can't do Garfield. Mika. Sean, I can't do Garfield. Garfield's a little bit harder because he got, you know what I mean? He got the accent. I gotta like really get into that. I copped the article, Sean P. Much respect, homie. Appreciate you, Ramon. Appreciate everybody that's hitting that link, man. All y'all gotta do is hit the link, go through the process, man. It's gonna give it to you right then and there. Make sure y'all read it, and please make sure that y'all are giving feedback. So I put the link also on a day post a day ago, almost 2 days ago. And this is an abstract of what the article is about a little bit, but not, in its entirety. And I tagged all of them. And then there's the link to purchase it, right? And here's the cover. But then when I clicked on this thing, I was like, what in the world? It had all these messages and likes and shit like that. So I'm like, okay, hopefully people aren't just liking it, that they're, you know what I mean, actually getting it. But then I seen the comments. Seen Vasa, okay, cool. You know, he commented immediately when he got it, and he was reading when he had time. Then Life in Life, I figured that you would figure it out, and I'm glad you did, but I did respond. Then Ramasi, the FBA. This is a troll page, ladies and gentlemen, and I think I know exactly who this is, but I'm not going to say right now. He says, we're not African. If so, why can't we get free visas? That's dumb. You got to pay for you got to pay for a passport here just to leave the fucking country. So you want them to give you a free visa, but America charging us, and we in America to fucking get a passport to leave the fucking country and come back. So I would answer this wholeheartedly, but we've already done things where you can get these visas in these different countries and get dual citizenship. Then it says some of those countries don't exist no more than some of us can, from only 3% came to America. You see how he fucked that up? Now he's saying 3%. Now we're 43 million in the US. He's saying it don't add up. He's one of the reasons why I showed the statistical data, because this all the Abos claims. Then he goes on to talk about Kyrie Irving, which was irrelevant. And then he started bringing up Walter Plecker about changing identities. And he doesn't even understand that Walter Plecker was about not changing identities, but segregation. And then you got Cheese down here, right? Cheese been at this shit for 2 days, y'all. Cheese and his 20-something replies. Railed in the comments with Cheese. Cheese and liked his own goddamn comment. Rail laughed at him. He got mad, respond. Not word salad. You know what I'm saying? Then Prince came over there and said, no, Cheese, you a clown. Face it, you people barely know rappers from 30 years ago. Half of y'all serious people. Then he goes on, and it's just more, right? Cheese started responding to every goddamn body and arguing with everybody. When he, in truth, Cheese, you know, I understand you, bro. I understand that you want to be something, and you're a little bit, damn, I didn't even know Juju had joined the conversation. Right? But that's because, you know, I said a couple of things and he responded to it, but it really was worthless. And then he says, I'm just being salty toward the end. I'm just not seeing these two, Cheese. Please stop getting into your emotions. If you took time to do research, there are Black Aboriginal people in Asia, South America, Mexico, and even Eastern Europe. So this shows me that you know nothing about people. You don't know nothing about human diversity. You don't know anything about biology. You can see to the point of skin color as a determining factor for who would be recognized as Black or Aboriginal. And that's why Cheese is here today. So I just wanted to show y'all that a little bit of soundbite. Rod Rich is in the building. What's good, Rod? He says, them niggas always want something for free. Fucking bombs. Yes, facts. What up, Johnny Block? I see you laughing. Sean P, what is your Bantu language? You don't speak a Bantu language, Sean P. You, not a coincidence. And YK the truth, I will do a presentation and show you, Darwinism is fake, it's dead. The outer Africa theory is not a theory. It's not a fact, Sean P. The transatlantic slave trade was only 300,000. Walter Eltis proved that, Sean P. Oh, let me go back. Let's go back to the article. We got the article back up here? Yeah. All right. So sort by newest comments. Let's see if Tyron shows up now. Snowball does. Okay, Snowball, you got to subscribe. So here we go. We got, look at him. David Eltis, beat up your Wakanda Afro-punk ideology back to your bubble. Bonaboo. Sean P. Then he comments again. Boo, you sound like a delusional Wakandian. How about you convince your marabout witch doctor to give you tribal identity in Gambia? If you're going to read what he say, you got to read it in his voice. What up, Chill? Look, I respond. Prove the information wrong. Wait, you ain't read it yet. See, they ain't even read the article, but they arguing about it. Then he changes he's on a whole nother topic, talking about the Indian and Arts Crafts Act on this post. This is about the denialistic amnesia, a revisionist attempt to deny their African identity. Why the hell is he here on this post talking about the Indian Act, which was a post that was done days ago? And I reminded him, you on the wrong post, dumbass. This post is about an article released at the above link. Do you think he downloaded it? No. You know why he didn't? Because he can't argue the information. He won't argue the information. Then look at this goofball motherfucker right here. Look at this. This was killing Wabo's whole different. This is a whole different story, right? Whole different. This was 3 days ago. The revolt on Little George, right? Provide the evidence, show the pictures, get to it. And then you got these comments. You got people like him. Look, Ling back. What boat was your mother and father family was on? Let me show y'all again what this post is about. The June 6th, 1730 revolt on Little George. 96 Africans held captive on a slave ship revolted against the ship's captain and crew, eventually taking control of the entire ship. None of that has to do with his fucking question. See, I provide the evidence of the ship. Here you go. Where it was going. All that right here on the post. All that. You see it? All of that. 96 people, all there. But some kind of way he asked this dumbass question. Then, you know, me, I'm just going to, say what I say. This again, you've been debunked. Deal with the information. Stop moving the goalpost. Then he replies, and I didn't even bother. My family is indigenous to North America. You're the one that's trying to convince me of slavery that has nothing to do with me, buddy. Fucking lie. I ain't trying to convince you of shit. The burden of proof is on you. You denied that slavery existed. You denied the transatlantic slave trade. You denied all of this shit. You, buddy, have to prove that shit. And no, you ain't no motherfucking, your family ain't been here. Then this dumb motherfucker again. Who you killing, Sean P? Who you killing, Sean P? I ain't killing nobody. You and YK. You, look, I said, you died during your YK debate. And then you took a DNA test and it confirmed you was an abo. Then he comes back. I'm going to do a breakdown of his failure on my channel and your 2-part nothing burger videos. You can't break down anything. You're not scholarly. You fail. You argued against DNA only for DNA to prove your genetic admixture. You don't even know what disgallop mean or have examples of him ever doing it. And you actually are stupid as fuck, blaming him for the things you do. Then he tries to give a breakdown. Let's deal with it, because I didn't read his breakdown before. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? He's going to fuck this up. So he's replying to my one, you die when you're debate, blah, 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 right? Breakdown, projection, right here. This is what he says. He's using AI. He's using AI to try to go against something, right? Projection. Your is trying to mean my flaws. Damn, no. There's no way that he typed this. Your is trying to mean my flaws when you can't point to any actual moment where I died in the debate? Tyron, you said it was fake, only to take the test and it proved it to be real. You even found your relatives on the other side of the marker that you had. Shut the fuck up. False claim. All right, let's do it. My DNA test didn't say I wasn't Indian. Yes, it did. Indian never came up in your DNA test. Remember, you told us that you was 80-something% African, and then you had all these other statistics. Don't make me play the video with not a coincidence. Then you turned around and you tried to add some Indian in there, and you was like at 110% DNA. And not a coincidence kept telling you that how do you got 110% DNA when it only goes to 100? So let's do it again. My DNA test didn't say I wasn't Indian. That's your weird interpretation. I actually used the test to prove how flawed and limited DNA companies are, especially when they lump me into the African diaspora in the United States rather than identifying Southeastern Indigenous ancestors. Guess what they do? Guess what they do, Tyron? They do just that. They do just that. They sit here and identify people with their Southeastern Indigenous ancestry. We just had people up here that can show their nativeness on the screen. One more time, we just had Honey Clark up here the other day. She put her DNA on the screen. She had 0.4%, 0.04%. That tied her to somebody in her family being related here in the Americas. You couldn't do that because it's not on your DNA. Then you start coming up with this bullshit. Counterattack angle. So now you trust commercial DNA test again? Huh? That's rich coming from the same crew who claim sovereignty, mistrust the government, but run to the 23andMe when it suits your cosplay. Who the fuck are you talking about? You make no damn sense, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck who are you directing this to? We evidence-based. We deal with evidence. We don't deal in the realm of beliefs and conspiracies. Prove it or shut the fuck up. That's us. We the prove it part. You the shut the fuck up part. You can't break down anything. You're not scholarly. Okay. How many videos have y'all watched me break down shit and debunk and refute shit? That's mainly what I do with y'all. Any video about the Abos, the fake the Hebrews, the Moors, all these different subject matters are geared toward debunking your bullshit. The articles that I've written, debunking your bullshit. Even the article that I just dropped, debunking your bullshit. You failed. You argue against DNA only for the DNA prove your genetic admixture. Who the fuck? Yeah, you see how stupid? You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't know what the fuck he doing, bro. You just keep on. If DNA is so scientific, why does your own side rely on memes? Cherry picking. We don't do memes. We don't do memes. We don't do cherry picking. We don't do none of this shit you claim. I can't keep going all the way down this stupid ass shit that he's sitting here putting together. It's too much. We ain't got all day. And I can't keep sounding like this dumb ass motherfucker. What I can tell y'all to do is go cop this work right here. Go get this work. You know what I'm saying? Go support that. Go support that. You know, it's not a long read. It's not a boring read. It's very educational, and it has some information in there that's going to get you to where you need to go. Straight up. J. Cal said, it made me jump out the bushes. Yeah, y'all know how it go. Hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? They some funny guys. I need y'all to go get this article, though, for real. I really need y'all support on this in the community. I really, you know what I'm saying? I really need the Abos to support it because I want to see them. So I want to see them buy it, and then I want to see them rip this shit apart, bro. I want to see them finally challenge something. I'm talking about the FBA community, Tariq Nasheed, and whoever the fuck want to grab it and tear it apart. Let's see if you can disprove anything in the article. Let's see if you can falsify the information. And there's data in the article as well. Let's see if you could falsify that information, right? Not deny it, falsify it. So I need everybody to hit that link, man. Go get yours. Get yours, read it, and I guarantee you, when you're done reading it, you're gonna be like, wow. Or you're gonna want to be like, nah, this is a poor argument. You could have did better. Or you're gonna be like, on this part right here, why you got this right here? You know what I mean? All that. And then you get the descriptive sources in the back. Tell me where I'm wrong at. Just tell me my argument fell flat. And it's cool. I appreciate a proper critique. Appreciate a proper critique. I need y'all to go get that and support that, man. You know what I'm saying? $3? Bro, you're going to lose that in the couch. Your kid's going to take it up out your little change drawer. Yeah, Chiefs without Indians, yeah. Without tribes, yep. He said Chiefs without Indians, Indians without tribes. Abos families don't rock with their pretending bullcrap. True natives don't accept them. They know nothing about native history and cultures. Yep. They don't. Let me try this one more time. Cheese, I know you listening. Tyron, I know you listening. Al Power, I know you listening. Smoke Signal, I definitely know you listening. Cosmon showed up in here the other day. I know you listening. Come get this work. Don't leave it to Vernell to be the only person on y'all side of the argument to try to step up and really challenge me. And he did a poor job of that. Ain't none of y'all trying to play this replay between me and Vernell at all. What's funny is that before I even went live, and when I made the thing, I gave all my sources in the description. So you could have read everything that I was going to present or summarize in there. You could have had a great idea of what was going to be argued and still couldn't stop it. You know why? Because y'all ego. Y'all frauds. Y'all frauds, bro. On some real shit. Shabaka says, he says, we from MX. Sean, stop playing. Sean, you been tearing elbows, new buttholes. Pause. You catch more elbows slipping. Shit, well, I can't catch them slipping and not a coincidence. Because they be over there listening to them channels. I don't go over there with them guys. But YK definitely. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, hold on. Damn, I'm tripping. Hold up. So, damn. That's what it is. YK was just on Sonetta. He did a presentation. That show was an hour and 50 minutes. Now, y'all know I don't go on Sonetta, but YK said that he gonna play it. He gonna replay it. So when he replay it, that's when I'm gonna watch it. But I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to watch it because who it was. But his shit was over already. He said America is Egypt. Always been here. But yeah, so I'm waiting on YK, you know what I mean? The YK presentation. Definitely gonna get into the YK presentation for sure. And see how he did and you know what he handled. But I don't go on Sonetta, so, and I ain't supporting that, but I definitely ain't gonna support YK for sure, so that we get that replayed. You know, side try to flag it and all kind of other extra shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that guy. So I'm gonna just stick to my guns, and if YK run a replay, I'm gonna catch that. And also do a playback, which probably be it probably will be maybe Saturday or Sunday of next week when I do that. But we need to go over there and support YK though, you know what I'm saying, on his channel when he do the replay. For sure. But I need y'all to, man, to really get this work, bro. Like, in all phases of life, I need y'all help with this one. Even if you're against me, I mean, look at this. This is reality right here. This is our reality. This is what's going on right here. It's us versus us. Genetically speaking, bro, we are divided over our genetic makeup. It's us versus us. So make sure y'all cop this, man, and yeah, that's gonna be the thing right there. Definitely gonna be the thing. But I appreciate everybody tapping in, man. I'm not gonna hold y'all up. We ain't get no smoke from nobody, and I figure we won't go get no smoke from nobody because they really don't want to challenge the information. But please do me a huge favor and go over the Same Tree Different Branch and hit that link in the description. The link is also in the description. Hit the link. Go copy the book, bro. Get your copy, sis. You know what I'm saying? Give us your honest feedback and let's get to this work.
From Africa, but they will be able to tell you about Africa. They wouldn't be vaguely saying they from Africa, bro. Like when a European says I'm from Europe, he doesn't say I'm from Europe. He says I'm from Germany. I'm from a particular province. I still got people out there, right? You know, when people say hold on. When people say they from Asia, they tell you where about from Asia they from. They tell you their province. They tell you they still got people out there. These people will confirm that they are indeed a part of their heritage. But you niggas was calling y'all African? Oh, mysteriously, you have no contact with the people you say you descend from. So I don't believe you. Bro.
Hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. The roots of a tree and not hate the tree.
You ain't no Indian, please try again. Everybody know you's an African. And Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root without hating the tree. Now take a look at you, you's a wannabe Cherokee. And I told you before, you need some therapy. And why you never show the genealogy? You owe your ancestors an apology. And you know they turning over inside of their graves just because you don't wanna come from a slave. So you gotta take this whip in. I caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Hey, caught another apple slipping. Hey, caught another apple slipping. Hey, caught another apple. Caught another. Let's go. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Yo, check this out, man. You wasn't already here, man. Dane Calloway lied to you, man. The research guy lied to you, man. Karemio lied to you, man. Your ancestors come from Africa, whether you like it or not. So no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will always be an African. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the evidence. You can't deny the genealogy. You can't deny the DNA. You can't deny it, man. Whether you like it or not, You are African. Call the abo slipping. That's all we do. That's all we do. Let's go.
Got some dewy-eyed thing that you got a friend. I still ask you to look at that mirror. And if nothing's staring back at you is friendly, then you've got no friend.